Hi, I'm Anthony,
And I'm Roland.
and welcome to Twin Dragons. Welcome to our channel where we discuss everything dystopian.
And nothing bad about our corporate overlords. From books like Neuromancer, to movies like Johnny Mnemonic and Blade Runner, to games like Cyberpunk 2077, the cyberpunk genre has been around since the 80s and has inspired many.
Cyberpunk started as an idea, a concept, and has evolved over the years through multiple medias and platforms to truly start an evolution, you know?
Or one could say a revolution.
Or to start a revolution. Cyberpunk has truly evolved over all this time. I'd love to talk about what is cyberpunk, the idea, the concept. What does that mean to you?
Well, for me, cyberpunk is an alternate reality dystopian future where technology becomes even more a part of our lives than it is even right now. And when I mean like a part of our lives, I'm talking like integral into our own beings, right? Physically, as in part mechanical. So that's kind of what it means to me as a physical representation of cyberpunk. The more psychological, I guess, cultural part of cyberpunk to me is pretty much, I would say, anarchy, right? Against the establishment, right? It's usually against either a government or corporation or a government controlled by corporations.
Yeah, I think oppression. I think the few on the top who's truly oppressed society, where the people just scrounge to just get by, where crime runs rampant and lawlessness and chaos rule. I think when you think about the integration in biomechanical, I think about the net, the cyber piece of it, truly bringing into the digital worlds of the ones and zeros. I think of hacking. I think of infiltration. I think of those kind of things.
Yep, I think that another part of it is when you say oppression, right? It's something that where the idea that we don't have control over our lives anymore. We may think we do. We may think we have freedoms, but the few freedoms we have is given to us by these corporations, by these powerful entities that govern us, but they do it in a way that they keep us suppressed, right? Where it prevents us from actually leaving our own lives or changing our own settings and doing something different, where we are pretty much sheep in their eyes, right? We are just the fodder or the flock that they tend and use us for whatever their nefarious means may be.
I think of greed, where everyone is trying to one up each other, where your true goal is to try to attain the unattainable, like the upper echelon have, and you'll do anything to get that fame and that money.
Just the fact that you have to go to extremes to break away from the lot that you have been put in or as forced to be in, those extremes, it can get really wild.
I think a breakdown of morality as well.
Well, as the corporate overlords or government entity will freely let us break morality in a sense just to keep us in line, right? They will feed us with drugs and sex and various other things just to keep us nullified or mulled and preventing us from wanting to break out of our actual lot.
Yeah,
So,
they've created a system where it's chaos, but they control it, and no matter what you think you can do, more than likely you're just going to end up a splatter on the street, or a gun to your head, and it'll end just like that in a flash.
yep. And how technology is actually integrated into all these concepts, right? Like you mentioned before, like the web and the net, right? Where it's more than just something you just log into. It's actually you jack into for some aspects of it. You can either jack into it where you are now fully into it, right? Where your mind is like being mindlessly watching TV for the rest of your life, where you're just being fed media or information, and that's another way of that they call you or pretty nullify you, where you just don't do anything anymore because you're just a vegetable, pretty much, just living on the net. So that's another way that the technology integrates.
Absorbed into the information, right?
Yep.
You're a vegetable to the information or into the virtual realities, virtual worlds, right? That you're integrated in, where those virtual worlds might be just a better life than the one you're living, right?
Well, more definitely they are. So,
Yep.
and also that the flow of information that does reach you is all curated by that corporate controlled media, right? There's no information that does not have corporate sponsorship or have some kind of control aspect to it that also, once again, keeps the culture and civilization pretty much mold and prevents them from actually breaking free from their bonds of their lot in life. So, but yeah, Cyberpunk's an interesting, very interesting concept. So, what is it about Cyberpunk that you truly enjoy?
I really enjoy the biomechanical aspect of it and the integration of technology and flesh, where it's not just about the enhancements and the technology. It's like you can be whatever or whoever you want to be.
What's the price tag?
Well, I was about to say, as long as you have the money for it.
Okay.
You know, from body modifications, like you can truly see how you want to be. You want to be the buff, strong muscle man, and without having to do the workout. And as long as you can pay for it, you can get muscle enhancements and integrate, metal into your body to allow you to have that strength. If you're truly wanting to dive into the technology and the net, you can implant chips into your brain that allows you to hack into technology, right? Interfaces, right? Like you think about like whatever you want to do and whatever you want to be. There's the technology that can change you to be that, right? So it creates this world that just truly opens up to you, where anything is possible and limitless. Again, as long as you have the money for it. So, what about you?
For me, it's I would like to give a quote, right? It's style over substance and attitude is everything, right? And that pretty much gives this idea, right? That it even though the concepts of like corporate overreach and society being integrated with technology is really cool, right? But something about Cyberpunk and its actual visualization and the style of it, right? How it looks, and we're talking like the neon streets of Tokyo or Night City, if you follow Cyberpunk, the games and the books and stuff, but the actual the cultures, the way that all the cultures are, you can kind of think of it as like a Neo-Japan kind of culture. It's like very neon lights and people dressing in very specific styles, trying to be different, right? Every style is trying to portray something different, right? Because they want to stand out. They want to show themselves as individuals. So with part of the body modifications, trying to be individuals and showing them that they're different, but also clothing styles. I'm talking like chroming yourself out, which is a concept of replacing your skin with a chromatic tint, or making just a metallic actual skin, so it's metal skin. So you just look different, right? I think that style could be like, if you're familiar with one of the cool movies that I truly loved growing up, was actually Blade Runner, right? From the original Blade Runner to the newer Blade Runner that came out, you can see that there's a visual style, right? It's dystopian. It's not quite. It's not apocalyptic, right? It's not a post-apocalyptic, but it's like the edge of society prior to it going apocalyptic, right? So where it's the drudges of society mixed in with the stylization of technology, right? I think that's such an awesome thing.
So if we're talking Cyberpunk and what you love about it, what do you feel like, what's your top media when it comes to the Cyberpunk genre? What's that one that you really love that truly like represents to you what Cyberpunk is?
Well, I'm partial to tabletop role playing games, right? So the Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk Red tabletop role playing games I truly love due to the fact that you become a part of it, right? It's not just reading a story or watching somebody's story taking place in this actual, even though they give you cool visual representations when it comes to the movies and stuff like that. I think that the tabletop role playing games allow you to immerse and become a character within that. But at the same time, being with a group like your friends and stuff, getting together and you're all exploring. You and your chooms get together and you guys explore this setting. So that's probably my favorite media when it comes to that. What about yourself?
Other than going to the classic movies like Blade Runner, what I really love as far as a platform, I love the TV show that was on Netflix called Altered Carbon. Altered Carbon is a dark genre where it truly showcases how the top half are oppressing the bottom half, how they pretty much live in the clouds, right? In these sky cities, and that's where the rich lives. And their goal is how they kind of make themselves almost godlike to the people beneath them, where they're chasing immortality to truly attain godhood, and just see how the lower half live with the aesthetics, the neon lights, the dredge of society, how they're trying to fight through society and trying to live and trying to move on up in crime. Like that truly to me showcased what Cyberpunk could really be.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go into some of the things I think that we can try to pull up that is something that we don't like about Cyberpunk, or not that we dislike about it, but it kind of gives us some pause or some discussion about it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's so much to like about the genre. I guess one of the biggest complaints for most people is that it's a darker outlook on the future. Mm-hmm. You think about the other types of genres and TV shows and movies that show a brighter, hopeful tomorrow. Cyberpunk's not that. It's a darker time. And I say future, but it doesn't have to be too far in the future either.
Or could it be just a different alternate reality?
Just an alternate reality, right? So the first thing I would say that could be a negative is some people just don't like that darker style, that almost dystopian, darker tones where, most people are not going to have happy endings. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that some people will be like discouraged when it comes to the cyberpunk genre, just due to the fact that it almost seems realistic in a sense, right? If you take away the crazy like body enhancements and stuff like that, which is not too far-fetched, but at the same time, it's too realistic, right? Like if you look at the world that we live in, the cyberpunk world is just a reflection of it, right? Where, not to get political or anything, but we have, big corporations that try to gobble up everything, right? Where you have a government that some people believe is, controlled by these big corporations. So some people may think it's a little too close to the truth, and they would prefer to keep themselves in a genre that's different, like a fantasy genre or something else that gets them away from this reality. And cyberpunk is just an idea of a reality that can or is happening almost.
Yeah.
So, how would you like to close it?
I think cyberpunk is a genre that if you're into anything can happen, anything goes, fighting for, you're fighting to climb that ladder, where, you're trying to make it in a world where either you're somebody or you're nobody.
Yep.
You're living on the edge, right, of life. You're living on the edge where from one moment you're living high to the next you got a bullet through the brain. Mm-hmm. It is a genre that can be fast-paced, dark, something you could truly like sink your teeth into.
I think that for those who have never really actually tried to dipping their toe into the cyberpunk genre, I think that some good ways of doing it would actually be to just watch some of the movies. That's probably be the easiest way to consume it. You could start with very trippy, crazy, stuff like Johnny Mnemonic, which would be like your more trippier, crazier versions of cyberpunk, where there's a dolphin that talks, or you can go into like some of the more greater classics, right, where we talk about like Blade Runner, stuff like that. I also think that if you would like another easier medium to adults, it's very adult theme, but the Netflix TV show Cyberpunk Edge Runners, the animation, gives you a good snip of that really darker future where it looks bright with the colors and everything, but then you look behind the scenes and it is pretty dark and grimy for the most part. And in the extremes and nasty things people do to just survive, it's incredible. So
It's a good call out.
So everyone, comment down below. Let us know what you love or hate about the cyberpunk genre.
If you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, as we have a lot more content coming out soon. Until then, see you next time.